Hi everyone, this is Cherry Enchantress, and I am here to talk about some of these books that I've been mentioning, like Linda Goodman's Star Signs that I did all those numerology talks on. Before there was the Star Signs book, there was my favorite, Love Signs. I'll get with that in just a minute. Before there was Love Signs, there was Sun Signs. And before there was Sun Signs, there were these little packets little pamphlet type things that you could get at the grocery stores. Okay, so 1990, I saved this one. And also they had like the little scrolls. I don't know if you remember those. But as a teenager, that's kind of how I got into astrology, was the little scrolls and these little booklets that kind of tell you. This was the first time where I read something that other than the newspaper, where it said you're a certain kind of Scorpio according to when you're born, like, you know, the first of the month, the middle of the month, or the end of the month. And that was the closest thing then that we got, that I've ever been closest thing to the actual doing charts and stuff, you know. So that was kind of the beginning for me. Then I never did read this. I did read it, but I didn't read this when it first came out. Although it's a really great book, it wasn't the one that caught my attention first. I bought this a little bit later when I had my first child because I needed to know about my son as the astrology sign. So first the chapter will talk, so he's a Pisces, and first it talks about how to recognize a Pisces, and then it talks about the Pisces man, and then it talks about the Pisces woman, or whatever sign you're looking up, and then the Pisces child, which is really nice. And with my son it was perfect because it had this sort of you come from the fairies kind of thing, which is true. Even though he's a very masculine man, he did come from the fairies. Then there's the boss, which is good to also. I need to know, pardon my street noise, I need to look at my boss who's Aquarius. That would be interesting. I haven't done that yet, surprisingly. Then the employee, and then that's it. And so it's a great book, a great starter astrology book for anybody who's interested. And yeah, but the one that really caught my attention, so my big thing, I was a very nerdy girl, and my favorite thing was to go to the mall, but not to shop for clothes, to go to the bookstore and just sit in the bookstore while my mom went shopping with my brother and sister. I would sit in the bookstore and just read everything I could read in the amount of time that I had. And I guess that's when I discovered Linda Goodman's Love Signs. Here's Linda Goodman. She looks so pretty in that picture. Anyway, she's pretty much my guru. I mean, she changed my life, this woman, and not just her, a lot of the authors also that she cites. You know, I looked up their books, and then that led to the next thing, and the next thing, and the next thing. I like to do that because it I can go off into a tangent, and it's kind of fun. But Love Signs was my Bible, really, in high school. I would carry it around with me, and I do stuff like I'm doing right now. I'd like give advice, help kids with their love lives. This is what I did. I mean, it's silly because I'm just reading to them, but I gave them a little bit of my extra insight on it. So, okay, so I just love this book because it's about love, you know, and that is, even though I'm a Scorpio, I am Venus ruled. I have a lot of Libra in my 12th house, so that makes me pretty deep and profound. So what it does is it shows you all the combination of every sign, you know. This is the context. So if you're interested in, if you're like Gemini and you're interested in a Pisces, you're a man and she's a woman, you can look that up. Right off the bat, what I really love about this is the 12 initiates of love. Okay? Aries, the infant, I am. Boy, I keep going. I'm going to have to put my glasses on. Ah, that's better. So Aries is the first sign of the Zodiac. So he's represented by the infant. Pardon me, I gotta clean my glasses too. Okay. And she has these little kind of phrases for each one. Aries is I am. And that is to teach that love is innocence and learn that love is trust. Taurus is the baby. That's the next sign in the Zodiac. And his is I have. To teach that love is patience and to learn that love is forgiveness. And then Gemini is the child. And his is I think. To teach that love is awareness and learn that love is feeling. Cancer is the next one, and he is the adolescent. And Cancer is I feel. To teach that love is devotion and learn that love is freedom. Leo is the teenager, and that one is I will. To teach that love is ecstasy and learn that love is humility. Now we've gone through their stages of life up until Virgo, who is the adult. Virgo is the adult, and Virgo is I analyze. To teach that love is pure and learn that love is fulfillment. Now we go into the experiences. So now that you're an adult, you have some experiences. The first experience is marriage. So Libra is marriage, and that is I balance. To teach that love is beauty and learn that love is harmony. The next is Scorpio. Sex, I desire. To teach that love is passion and to learn that love is surrender. So if you're Scorpio, you might have a problem with surrendering because it takes a lot of trust to just, give your whole self to someone. Sagittarius is knowledge, I see. To teach that love is honesty and learn that love is loyalty. Capricorn is experience, I use. To teach that love is wisdom and learn that love is unselfish. Aquarius is idealism, I know. To teach that love is tolerance and learn that love is oneness. And then Pisces is submission, I believe. To teach that love is compassion and learn that love is all. So, just that by itself is very powerful. It's a really powerful start. And she goes on, talks a little bit about numbers again. The moon is to 2. See, right off the bat, it was ingrained in me that moon is 2. Jupiter is 3. Uranus is 4. Mercury is 5. Venus is 6. Neptune is 7. Saturn is 8. Mars is 9. And the powerful 0, she has a little talk about 0. Pluto's 0 circle. And the way it adds and it makes more. So on. I did a talk on 0. So if you want to know more about that, go look it up. And this lady is cool because she was raised in different religions. She actually experienced the Catholic religion a little bit too, which is what I was raised in. But, you know, I think she eventually became Buddhist, and she has a lot of religion mixed in all this astrology, and that's probably another thing that appealed to me. I think I had a little bit of guilt to love astrology when I was a Catholic girl. So, and then it goes on to each little love mystery for each sign. So I'll read mine. The Scorpio love mystery. As it enters its second experience in the water element, the now mature soul welcomes the chance for meditation through a return of the negative feminine night forces of the Scorpio consciousness. So each sign is also negative or positive, feminine or masculine. And it doesn't matter if you are a man, you might have a feminine sign that helps you get in touch with your femininity a little bit better. On a personal level, Scorpio is troubled to discover that he faces for the first time the awesome mystery of his own existence. Where did he come from? Where is he going? Why is he here? Scorpio must tear the veil from life, regardless of the cost, to quiet his restless spirit, suddenly released from its former preoccupation with earthly needs alone. He cries out, "I desire." There is much that Scorpio knows, the soul knows, but even more that is sensed and cannot yet be defined. The Scorpio vibration brings such a burning need to penetrate the unknown that it must be buried beneath deep layers of calm reason, or it would consume the mind and sear the soul. Lessons well remembered from Libra's softness and impartial judgment have made Scorpio wary of expressing opinions to those who would tear them apart. Very true. The strong Scorpion instinct for survival springs from a deep-seated fear that he who is not forearmed will be destroyed. Each defeat sustained for Scorpio only strengthens their inner conviction that the first loyalty must be to his or her own personal integrity, for Scorpio senses that if the self is lost, then all is lost. On the Scorpio level of consciousness, the soul is newly aware of the relationship between birth, death, sex, and religious truth. Scorpio knows that in some mystical way these are all intertwined. Therefore, sex becomes something intimately explored with an intensity unknown to those either behind or ahead of the Scorpio stage of development or evolvement. Although Scorpio trusts love only after it has proven itself deserving of such trust, once dedicated to another, loyalty is unwavering and eternal. Feeling fiercely the need to protect himself and those he loves from hurt, Scorpio is compelled to demand an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, as assurances that injuries will not be repeated. Through the subtle influence of the ruling planet Pluto, the experience of death comes to Scorpio's soul as friends and relatives pass away, increasing the need to penetrate even deeper for the knowledge buried in the silent subconscious. While Scorpio's spirit soars upward like the eagle, defying gravity, worldly desires and passions intensify, forcing him to question his own worthiness. Ultra-sensitive, but now able to totally disguise such sensitivity, Scorpio now learns the amazing power of his or her own mind, the silent will, and uses it secretly lest others learn how to use the same kind of power over him or her. The Scorpio consciousness is the period of the soul's testing. Scorpio's positive qualities are loyalty, willpower, magnetism, gentleness, insight, and amazing self-control. Expressed in their negative form, they become ruthlessness, fanaticism, revenge, sadism, suspicion, and self-hatred. To Scorpio men and women, love is a consuming flame worth any sacrifice, and they must conquer its challenge. Sexually uninhibited, yet emotionally fearful and mentally suspicious, they strive desperately to unite love's physical and spiritual vibrations with a strange mixture of eroticism and purity. but the satisfaction of desire only leaves Scorpio so still hungry for something beyond. So, if this resonates with you and you're not a Scorpio, there's a good reason for that. And it could be that your sun, whatever sign it is, say your sun in Aries is in the 8th house of Scorpio, you might take on a lot of those same feelings and personality traits, but at least, a lot of those similar desires and feelings that Scorpios have. But that's a deeper subject when we get into charts, and that this is just sun signs, basic and simple, and how one sun sign compares with another one in the love relationship. And all right, so the next thing is, she talks about, well, what is a sun sign? Your sun sign and the terms, what it means. And then these how the chapters start. The chapters just match up Aries and Aries first and foremost. First, she talks about a general relationship, Aries and Aries. It can mean anybody, friends, relatives, co-workers. And then she goes on to the different sexes, Aries woman, Aries man, in that relationship. And then she goes on to, and so on and so forth. And so then we go from Aries to Taurus, the next thing. So comparing Aries to the next astrology sign, all the way through this very big book. It's pretty amazing. I put some stuff in there. And I would just take this around, and somebody say, well, I'd say, what's your sign? They say Sagittarius, and I love a Pisces. And I'm like, really? That's weird. Okay, let's look that up. And the thing about, common thread between Sagittarians and Pisces is they both like to travel. So there are sometimes very strange reasons why we connect with people that aren't naturally harmonious. So in the back of the book, it'll tell you what is a natural harmonious. First, she goes into famous people that have your sign, which is nice. And then, let's see. And then she talks about the personality types. I mean, this is like astrology and psychology mixed. That's why I loved it so much. It's because it really digs deep into people, And so you have cardinal signs, fixed signs, mutable signs. Under the cardinal signs, there's Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. Under the fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. Mutable means communicators. Fixed are organizers, and cardinal signs are leaders. And then it breaks down positive masculine signs: aggressive, dynamic, idealist, Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, Aquarius. Negative feminine signs: secretive, reflective, strategist, Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Pisces, Capricorn, and so on. It talks about fire signs, air signs, and earth signs. The karmic mission of every sun sign. So the karmic mission for Scorpio is to organize. I love organizing. And this new job that I have, even though at first there was so many hours because there was a lot of catching up, it was a lot of, my boss was really behind. And so I helped her catch up in all this organization. But secretly, I love to organize. I mean, it's what I like to do. So, but to organize in a sensitive, secretive, reflective, and strategic manner. That's how Scorpio organizes. Let me tell you how a Taurus organizes in a material, secretive, reflective, and strategic manner. So she breaks it down like that. Then she talks about the blending of the elements. So a lot of you know this already, but if you are Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, you're a fire sign. Air signs are Libra, Aquarius, Gemini. Earth signs are Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And then the blending of the two. Of course, when you're blending with your own element, it'll be more harmonious. And then easy, natural blend are ones like fire and air, and earth and water. But fire and earth, not so much. Fire and water, a large fire can dehydrate or dry out a small amount of water with excessive heat. On the other hand, large quantities of water can extinguish fire, put out its flames. Therefore, fire instinctively either fears or respects water, and vice versa. Both subconsciously sense the danger that is capable of completely destroying the other. The choice lies equally with both individuals. Then, like water and air. Water and air seems kind of interesting. Air penetrates water, stirs it, churns it into lashing waves, then moves away. An infiltration or attack over which water has no control. When water penetrates air in the form of moisture, it causes air to be heavy. But in the process, it can also brings to nature the blessed relief of rain, magically changing air into its own element. A transmutation over which air has no control. In the final analysis, there is no choice of outcome for either individual, only through destiny's higher will. And then this is probably like the most important thing that you need to know, like the sun sign patterns. There's a lot to know, but sun sign patterns. If you're a 1-1, a 2-12, according to the wheel. And here's where these are like the beginnings of chart work. So here's the wheel. And how each sign has a position in this wheel, and they become a house, and its houses 1 through 12, just like the signs. And the way each sign is matches to the other sign, and the position of it on the wheel tells you what the pattern is. And she breaks that down some more. And then compatibilities. It just, I don't know, like to me this was the beginning of understanding how to do chart work, and it helped me, it was a great start for all of that. So I really recommend this book before you get in. I mean, if you don't know how to do your astrology chart, or if you just looked it up and you don't know what it means at all, then this book will help you with that. Even though it's at the end of the book, you might like all this matching signs, and not just that she matches signs, but she does it with such humor. Like, she's an amazing writer. She's funny, and she does dialogues as if the signs were talking to each other. And sometimes you'll read it and like, oh my God, that is me and blah, blah, blah. We sound just like that. So yeah, it's a cool book. Love it. It's my Bible. It's the way I started. And anyway, that was me as a teenager in love signs. And I just, actually the book that I had, I think I've had 3 of them that's got torn up, and I finally got a hardcover book that's also a little bit torn up, but at least it'll last a little bit longer. So I will talk about the next most important book in my life, probably coming up, but I thought I should tell you about what started it all for me. I think that really is what started it all. That was the book. So hope you enjoyed that little talk. I hope it helps you. I hope you get into astrology. If you like astrology, that's a good book to get into. But any book out there can help you, make a good start. But if you like Peter Pan, Jim Barrie, a funny Aries woman who writes like really well, then you will like Linda Goodman. And that's not her only book. She has other ones, and I can explain those later, but I'm trying to kind of go chronologically. So yes, this is teenage Jean. Teenage Cherry Enchantress, but I was not Cherry Enchantress back then. Alright, you guys. I'm going to do a Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust magic spell on you. And my kitty's desperate to get out, so I better hurry up and do this Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust. Alright, till next time.